Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Babar Ali and I am working as a lecturer in zoology in Government SC College, Bahawalpur. Uh, Today we will discuss about the subphylum Urochordata. Phylum Chordata, that is divided into three subphyla: subphylum Urochordata, subphylum Cephalochordata, and subphylum Vertebrata. So today we are going to discuss about the subphylum Urochordata. Subphylum Urochordata, that is consist of three classes. Class 1, that contain Ascidians, and second class that contains Appendicularians, and class 3rd that contains Thaliaceans. So Ascidians, they form that is the largest most class of subphylum Urochordata, and this class that is sessile in nature and live solitary or in the form of colonies. Appendicularians and Thaliaceans, they are live in the form of planktons, and sometimes they form the most dominant population of the area where they live. Ascidians, they their body is covered with a membrane which is called tunica or tunic, and this membrane that is a jelly like in appearance and a tough membrane. They are sessile and attached with the substratum from the ventral side, and unattached end or side of the animal that contain two siphons, one that is called incurrent siphon or oral siphon, through which water enters into their body, and second siphon that is called excurrent or atrial siphon, through which water moves outside from their body wall. As we earlier discussed, that their body is covered by a membrane which is called tunica or tunic membrane. So this membrane that is jelly like in appearance and but quite tough, and this membrane that is secreted from the epidermis, and chemically this membrane that is composed of proteins, various salts and cellulose. Some mesodermally derived vessels, tissues and blood that also incorporated in the this membrane. From the ventral side, root like stolons, these are arises from the tunic membrane, and with the help of these stolons, root like extensions, they are attached with the substratum or attached with the other members when these are present in the form of colony. Below the tunic membrane, some muscles, longitudinal muscles and circular muscles are present, and these longitudinal muscles and circular muscles, they contract and relax and change the shape, change the form, change the body size of the adult Ascidians, and these muscles, the water that is present inside their body cavity, which is called atrium. So when these muscles contract, they apply a force on that water, and this water acts as a hydrostatic skeleton. So muscles and the water which is present in their body cavity, they both provide support to the animal. Nervous system. Nervous system of Assyrians are urochordates, that is confined to the body wall, and nervous system that is consist of a single ganglion which is present in the wall of the pharynx between the atrial siphon and the oral siphon. uh, Tunicates are sensitive to many kinds of mechanical and chemical stimuli, and these receptors, these are mainly distributed in the body wall, especially around the siphons, both siphons, oral siphon and the atrial siphon. Digestive system that start from the oral siphon. The main part of the digestive system, that is pharynx that contains openings which are called stigma, and these stigma, they have cilia, and through these openings water enters into the atrium, that is the body cavity, and these cilia which are present at the stigmas, they control the movement of the water. uh, uh, Pharynx that opens into the stomach, and the stomach opens into the intestine, and intestine opens through the anus in the atrial chamber or in the atrium. So when water currents enters into the oral siphon, into the body of the animal, so water enters into the pharynx, and from the pharynx this water enters into the atrial chambers or atrium, and the food particles which are present in that water, these are filtered by the cilia in the pharynx. On one side of the pharynx, endostyle is present. This endostyle, that is a ciliated chamber, and that secrete mucus. This mucus that form a covering inside the pharynx and digestive system, and with the movement of the cilia, that form a cord-like structure or string-like structure that extends from pharynx to the stomach. The food particles which enters into the pharynx with water, these are trapped into that string, and with the help of that string, these food particles from the pharynx reach to the stomach. Here in stomach, digestive enzymes are secreted, produced, and digestion takes place, and these food particles, these are released from the mucus cord, and then digested and undigested food both enters into the small intestine. In small intestine, digested food that is absorbed, and undigested food from the anus released into the atrium near the atrial siphon. The water that enters into the atrium through the stigma, that expel outside from the atrial siphon, and this water that also contain undigested food. So undigested food that is also expelled outside through the atrial siphon with the water. Respiration that takes place by simple diffusion when water enters into the atrium through the oral siphon. This contain oxygen, so oxygen diffuses inside the body of the tunicates, and carbon dioxide that is diffuses into the water, and this water that is expelled outside through the oral siphon. Circulation heart lies on the base of pharynx on the ventral side, and two vessels, these are arises from the heart, one that at the anterior side and second one that at the posterior side. So when heart contracts, blood enters into the anterior vessel, and this anterior vessel that is further divided into the capillaries. So blood with the capillaries reach to the tissues, and after some beats the flow of the blood that is reversed. You can say the movement of the blood in the blood vessel that is bidirectional. Heart pump the blood into the anterior vessel as well as in the posterior blood vessel. Blood that is colorless and that contains amoeboid cells. Excretion, ammonia diffuses into the water. When water that enters into the atrium, ammonia which is produced in the cells that is diffuses into the water, and when water that is expelled outside through the atrial siphon, so this ammonia that is excreted outside with that water. Amoeboid cell that these also collect the uric acid from the body. Amoeboid cell, these are present in the blood cells, so they collect the uric acid from the body and sequester it into the intestinal loop. And pyloric gland which is present outside the intestine, that also help in the excretion. So that uric acid which is sequestered by the amoeboid cell into the intestinal loop, these are excreted outside with the help of undigested food. So this is the these are the diagrams of ascidians. So here we can say lower these are attached with the body from ventral side, and at the anterior side two siphons are present. One that is the oral siphon through which water enters, water in, that is labeled by water in, and second one that is the atrial siphon which is water X, water that is removed outside through it. And in between the two ganglion is present. Below the oral siphon pharynx that is present. Pharynx contains stigmas, and stigmas they have cilia, and these are openings in the pharynx which enters the water into the atrial cavity or atrium. Body wall, then stomach is present. Near the stomach we can see gonads, and from the stomach intestine that is arises, and intestine that opens in the atrium near the oral atrial siphon with the anus. And at the ventral side, these animals, these are attached with the substratum with the help of a stolon. And here at the below this diagram, a cross section of the same animal that is shown, and this cross section that show the same parts. Reproduction and development. Ascidians are monoecious. These are hermaphrodite. They contain the male and female reproductive system in the same animal, in the same individual. Both type of reproductive systems, male and female, these are present. Gonads are located along the near the digestive system and along the intestine, and opens near the atrial siphon. Gonads are produce sperms in male gonads and eggs in female gonads, and these are shed outside through the atrial siphon. Self-fertilization occurs in some species, but cross-fertilization, that is the rule. Fertilization takes place outside the body, and zygote is formed. Then that zygote that is developed into the tadpole-like larva. This tadpole-like larva that show all the 4 characteristics of the chordates. Then this tadpole-like larva that attach with the substratum from the ventral side below the mouth. Adhesive papillae are present. With the help of these adhesive papillae, these tadpole-like larva attach with the substratum, and during this attachment, epidermis that contracts and hold the body organs. These are rotate at the 180 degree, and the oral siphon and the atrial siphon, they becomes on the anterior side, and they become on the unattached side. So as a result of that, the digestive system and the other system, they become U-shaped. So this is the diagram of a Assyrian, which shows the life cycle of the Assyrian or urochordate. So this is about the urochordate. Thanks for watching this video.